On August 6, 1945, the United States dropped an atomic bomb on the city of Hiroshima, Japan. 3 days later, the U.S. dropped another atomic bomb on the Japanese city of Nagasaki. As a result, 90% of the population, both Nagasaki and Hiroshima, lie either dead or wounded.
唯一の戦争被爆国として核兵器のない世界の実現に向けて粘り強く努力を重ねていくこと、それは我が国の使命です。
The decision to bomb Japan in 1945 was the result of many years of experimentation with atomic weapons, also known as the Manhattan Project. This experimentation commenced in 1939 under the direction of President Franklin D. Roosevelt in an effort to beat the Nazis, who were rumored to be developing an atomic weapon of their own. The Manhattan Project was one to be kept in total secrecy. The goals of the project were massive, as the atomic bomb was one that only existed theoretically and had never been produced effectively. As a layer of added stress, the materials needed to create such a weapon were hard to come by, and many of those employed to work on the project were not legal U.S. citizens. As the Manhattan Project continued in secrecy, Japan attacked Pearl Harbor, U.S. territory, in 1941, and due to this event, the United States would enter World War II during that same year. In the midst of a total war, the Manhattan Project continued, and on July 16, 1945, the first successful atomic bomb was released in New Mexico. As a result of the many years of experimentation, the United States finally possessed a rare, detrimental weapon.
By 1945, World War II had perhaps reached the most challenging and frustrating point for the United States. During this time, Japan refused to surrender as their soldiers were trained to accept death over defeat. Because the United States did not see an end in sight, President Truman ordered the atomic bombs to be dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, Japan, in August of 1945. These two events mark what may have been considered the most catastrophic tragedy in world history. Consequently, 100,000 lay dead and both cities practically destroyed beyond recognition. The effects of an atomic bomb can vary, but they tend to cause environmental issues. They can also cause temps as high as 10 million degrees Celsius and tend to experience fires due to electromagnetic radiation, which causes desolation and 12 unforgettable horrors for those who survive this tragic event.
Being survivor is more scary than you get burned the next day you die or something like that.
Why?
Yeah. Because there's nothing left after. Then we have to struggle to live there. You have to keep going, right?
A number of dangerous occurrences are likely to follow the detonation of an atomic bomb. Firstly, the particles of split atoms will seemingly fall out of the sky and into the targeted area. These dangerous dust particles are known as radioactive fallout. The fallout will spread via wind and water, negatively affecting the remaining people, wildlife, and plants in the area. Unfortunately, very little was known about radioactive fallout after the atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Therefore, their effects were devastating and long-lasting. The result of widespread radiation ultimately leads to the release of large amounts of iodine and cesium into the environment. These elements in large amounts are not good for any living organism. Thus, the survivors were exposed to many harmful chemicals and elements, which led to a widespread increase in cancer patients in the affected areas of Japan.
Despite the monstrous outcome in cities of Nagasaki and Hiroshima, many notable achievements were made because of these atomic bombings. The United States and Japan were able to use this tragedy as a learning opportunity. As a result of this bombing, both countries launched programs which collectively would give the world a better understanding of the effects of atomic bombs on both people and the environment. In 1975, an organization titled the Radiation Effects Research Foundation, or RERF for short, funded by both Japan and the United States, provided a useful amount of trustworthy data and statistics. The RERF launched many studies to collect information about the world after an atomic bomb, such as the Lifespan Study. In this specific research program, a number of those who survived Hiroshima and Nagasaki bombings were followed and analyzed over their lifetime.
The decision to drop 2 atomic bombs on Nagasaki and Hiroshima, Japan, were 2 of the most controversial choices made by the United States. Many choose to focus solely on the tragedy, the lives lost, the environment destroyed. But contrarily, these events may also be considered a triumph for the world at large. From the time at which the bombs were dropped in 1945 to the present day, Japan and the United States have maintained a superb alliance in many aspects, and the world has gained a greater understanding of the various scientific effects of atomic bombs.